Welcome, everybody, to the nationwide prayer campaign to end abortion forever. Thank you for coming. And sorry about yesterday. Somehow the media wasn't playing for Dr. Mayjen. And we have it today. It popped up right after we closed yesterday. So we'll put it on today. Let's get started with the prayers. God bless you all. And I welcome Dr. Mayjen Apiado. She's in the hospital right now as we're talking. Hi, Dr. Mayjen, how are you?
Wonderful.
And you will be speaking about the natural family planning, introductory, and it'll be the simplified version, correct?
Yes.
The floor is yours. Thank you.
So what I want to share are some resources relating to natural family planning. Now, the beginning of this was via the Dr. and Dr. Billings from Australia, who was actually attending a conference in Rome. And their background was, I believe, family practice. And they decided that it will be worthwhile to consider developing something chemical free, because at the time in the 60s the contraception was getting stronger as pushed in the secular world. So inspired by this conference in Rome and charged by then the Pope or the bishops, they embarked on the research and they come back after a year. And they decided that their method is certainly good to apply as a natural way to promote marital intimacy without fear of unwanted pregnancy, but also welcoming any pregnancy, but doing it without chemicals or mechanical contraception. Later on, other practitioners have built on this method. It is mucus-based. It is not necessarily simply calendar method. So you're trying to see something objective around your cycle. So if you just review, like the rhythm method is essentially looking at your fertile period where you are ovulating. So in a cycle of a woman, usually the midpoint between the period and the next period, that's the center part, more or less, is the luteal, the follicular release or ovulation. So that certainly would have a window of 3 days when the egg is available for fertilization. So the calendar method plots it against a monthly calendar and then brackets that sort of fertile period, few days before, few days after, as sort of, if you want to get pregnant, use it, or if you don't want to get pregnant, abstain. So the Billings method built on this by testing the mucus. Now, there is, temperature. So the temperature part of it is like the basal body temperature. So they measure it at the beginning of the day before you actually awaken. So you measure it in your axilla and then plot it. Now, there has been other doctors who have built upon the physiology of the women, and among them is Dr. Hilgers, Thomas Hilgers, who founded the Pope Paul VI Institute. Now, he had his own calling from the Vatican because upon publication of Humani Vitae, it was also somehow of a call to research all what can be known of the physiology of pregnancy, conception, and the fertilization. So he embarked on research, and as an OBGYN, he has full access to the women that is in his clinic, as well as his staff, his nurses, and his wife, sorry. So he actually pioneered a system whereby the mucus have been founded to be a good marker for viscosity, meaning the elasticity of it and the feel of it. So it was correlated with microscopic studies. Why does it seem to change with the cycle changing? And they found that during the fertile window, the mucus almost became like a three-dimensional net, but it's like channels really, because it's 3D, think of it that way. And so it becomes almost very open to receiving the flow, if you will, of spermatozoa. So it actually goes through and makes fertilization possible. Now, what do I feel? What do I mean by this feel? So the cervical mucus is usually tested, before you urinate. You wipe a tissue from back to front, look at the tissue, and then see the tissue, the cervical mucus there, to see if it's tacky, okay, if it's stretchy, or if it's like I don't want to say booger, but kind of like that, but with actually like elasticity. It's actually um, kind of um, um, kind of more firm, but it's still kind of has a sticky and stretchy consistency, but it doesn't break. Um, the pattern now of this system has been patterned, or sorry, tracked through a color-coded system called NAPRO technology. You can look at this from, as I said, Popol VI, for the Sixth Institute.org website. And
Repeat that.
they
Repeat that.
Popol VI, Popol the Sixth Institute.org. So it's Dr. Hilger's website, or his Popol the Sixth Institute, based out of um, Omaha. And they have now a full-fledged clinic of OBGYN addressing many other issues. So because they found that this sort of study of the mucus and all these, basal body temperature, these changes that are within the woman's cycle, also helps identify and diagnose conditions that have sort of perhaps plagued the women for some time. So not only infertility, but PCOS, polycystic ovarian disease, endometriosis, and other GYN pathology. So there's also hormonal imbalances that are disclosed by this tracking. One common imbalance in the hormones is something called like low progesterone, low luteal phase progesterone. So after the surge of what is called the follicle stimulating hormone in the start, that leads to the surge of a next hormone called luteinizing hormone. And then the next part, that primes the patient for the next half of the cycle. If progesterone is not maintained, a pregnancy which had happened during the time of ovulation, the fertile period, would not be sustained. So if you have detected this to be happening based on your blood test from your hormone levels, you would have to take some hormonal supplements in this second half of your period. So this is sort of an endogenous or a naturally occurring hormone. So you're actually just supplementing what you're rather low. So it's like thyroid hormone. You're low. You become hypothyroid. So you take thyroxine or um, or thyroid hormone kind of supplements. So it's essentially kind of letting women understand their cycle and also being empowered by it, because believe it or not, like above 90%, even close to 95, this method is foolproof, and it helps whether achieving a pregnancy or delaying a pregnancy. And there are other um, avenues where people have gotten training to learn natural family planning. One of them is FEMM.org, and it has an app, and it has like a training for doctors to be certified in giving natural family planning. Now, one helpful thing that I have learned is through the Catholic Medical Association is to have something called like the market system, where you track the ovulation through the basal body temperature, and you essentially discover that you want to pair multiple findings to support your ovulation period. But they now even suggested not simply just testing the temperature through a thermometer, but actually doing an ovulation test, say clear blue ovulation strips. So paired with the mucus test, and using the mucus test is one, the kind of rubbery but still stretchy mucus, paired it with a clear blue ovulation strip, which would be positive, and that will be your good window to achieve a pregnancy. So that is something that I tell people in Facebook groups and in discussion, that it will be an easy, simplified, sort of natural family planning method. It's supported by you as a female, your symptoms, your mucus observations, but coupled with a partner of like technology, which is the ovulation strips. So that's easy and objective. You can easily picture it to be yes or no. And by all means, one should be open to receiving a child. Now, there's a debate within the pro-life community where they say, is it really pro-life when you're trying to avoid a pregnancy through natural family planning? Is it natural? But this is using your own body's rhythms. You're not going out of God's will to prevent the purpose for which the marital union was meant for. The marital union was meant for the couple to grow in a fruitful, faithful, and forever relationship. It is their way of actual communion. We receive Jesus in communion in the Eucharist, and according to my spiritual director, Father John Converset, he believes that it is as holy, the marital union, where the body of the spouse is given to the other in full giving, in total gift. So to stop this gift, whether you do a condom, you do chemical castration or chemical contraception, it's blocking that flow of total gift. That's why the Holy Fathers have written very eloquently upon this. Humanae Vitae is short but sweet, and you can totally read it. It's wonderful to abide by because it is wise and it is life-giving. Because the marriage is before, used for saying, it's for the procreation of children, but it's missing the point that it is also life-giving to the couple. Every marital act should be life-giving to the couple because it builds them spiritually, emotionally, physically, intellectually. It's a complete kind of, and the pinnacle of their unity. To have a child result from that process is a great blessing. It may not happen all the times that couples copulate, but it is certainly leaving that opportunity open to it, which is how the Lord designed it. And using also, important, using natural family planning does not take that away, because you're not having an intermediary person or process uh, intervene or bother with that sort of mutual gift. IVF is the opposite of that, where you have a third party assistance, um, a third party kind of even source, if it's not even a biological source. So that's why it is not at all of the Lord to do IVF. I know many couples have chosen that way, but that's like them deciding instead of letting God decide, that this is their path, which will best lead them to holiness. So I suggest that you consider knowing about the beautiful writings of Pope John Paul II in Theology of the Body. There are classes now at the Theology of the Body Institute, or sometimes through Damon Owens. Joyful Ever After is another website. But reading the Theology of the Body Wednesday messages of Pope John Paul II is also very rich. His writing on the family, called Familiaris Consortio, is also very good. It's an encyclical. And there is also something to know of quickly in something called Love and Responsibility by also St. John Paul II. There's a great book summarized by Edward Siri, Dr. Edward Siri, SRI, who summarized Love and Responsibility. And this is where I pretty much got something what I have been missing my early married years, which is essentially love is sacrifice. Love is sacrifice. So that is the vocation of everyone, which is to love and to love unconditionally. So if we are in the married state and we are in this like love assignment, right? So if we have the openness to love and to obey God, of course, this will lead to that marital union, and also general generosity to the couple mutually, and generosity to others, commitment, um, worshiping together the Lord because it strengthens it, but intimacy. So I summarize it in my little book, WICKS: Worship, Intimacy, Commitment, Love of Kids, K, and S, Spouse. But intimacy and commitment makes everything even kind of ideal, above and beyond the other characteristics. Because intimacy and commitment really defines the marriage bond. Intimacy refers to the marital act. And if you were to have what is called above average in these domains for you to have a strong and divorce-proof marriage by the National Marriage Project data, you would have to have above average marital unions, or intimacy rather. So that means frequency. So you have to have frequent copulation or lovemaking. What is that, like 3 times a week, you know. I mean, that's just objectively what, 7 days in a week, right? So the week perhaps that you will not want to have your marital union because you don't want to get pregnant at that time yet, then just express it in other ways, and then make up or ensure that the rest of the week's sort of numbers are met. But that's certainly like an easy way for you to share to your spouse, for you to share to your married friends, for you to share to engaged couples, that the marital union is a great blessing from the Lord. Sex is a holy and sacramental act in the marriage union. It is something that, in one side, when you have united it under God in the sacrament of matrimony, it will bring forth many blessings. But done outside that blessing, that call, will only give us grief. God hates a rake. That's like an old term for, like a philandering man, or a totally, promiscuous, spreading his seed around. He doesn't like fornication. He doesn't like adultery. He doesn't like sodomy. He doesn't like incest or homosexuality, or active homosexuality. So the Lord has given us a design already, which is the theology of the body, where essentially it says your body, male and female, already tells you how it's supposed to be. It's complementary. The male has that organ to join with the female in marital union, and that union also is fruitful because it's the only union, not the same-sex union, which will give forth, progeny. So that union also gives interior joy, a lot of interior joy. So I just offer you this chance to reach out to me for any more questions and to refer to the resources I have mentioned. Um, I am reached through social media, through Karen's website or email. It can be forwarded to me, and I'll be happy to walk with you. And I wish you well in your natural family planning, or NAPRO technology, or theology of the body journey. So happy coupledom. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative that you teach the people that not only is the natural family planning something so ideal for a family, it requires discipline, right? And love, where sometimes people don't want discipline and then they wind up suffering, in the end. But also, as you said, the viscosity of the fluid, it could also determine if there's some problems with the woman, right?
The
Like
whole monitoring of her cycle is a clue. So
it's a great idea for people to be encouraged to know about their body. And this is it's a study that
it's like already in us. We don't have to have all these dangerous chemicals that will make us die
yes.
unexpectedly, and have these crazy things. Like I was just telling people, Dr. G, the medical examiner show, has a wonderful episode where this woman has such a loving husband. The husband was grieving tremendously after she died, but the woman actually almost like literally killed herself because she, against the husband's knowledge, was contracepting. They were like totally solid, loving marriage, but she was contracepting. She was holding back. And
Wow.
so that contraception chemicals, which is totally abortifacient for 90% of them, so it's totally against Catholic teaching
Catholic
to
teaching.
not to avoid totally remove contraception. That chemicals gave her thrombosis, and it's
Oh,
like this blood clots, but it's a subtle blood clot that it affected a hidden vessel that supplies the colon. So all the while she was getting her colon gangrenous, she was getting it destroyed, and then she was just found dead.
Oh,
and they didn't know why is
not
this
from the
colon
pill?
dead,
Was
huh?
that from the pill?
Yeah, and the
Oh,
colon was dead, which was not common in young people. It's common in elderly, but the colon was dead because they later found out that the blood vessel supplying that area of the colon was thrombosed. And
wow.
it was thrombosed because of contraception. That's the first and foremost side effect that it is mentioned.
Wow.
It's also the other side effect is acne and also depression. Depression. So
Wow.
how can you expect to have a woman to have like a happy, healthy sex life if they're like moody or
Yeah.
bitchy? I mean, it's gonna work against them. That's why the people now have designed like female sexual libido enhancements
Yeah.
when they can just
All artificial.
junk their pill and just live naturally and be in a married relationship, because no other relationship will actually, it will make you miserable if you're not in that relationship and you're doing something that the Lord had only assigned within the marital union.
Amen. 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 Well, thank you. And just hang on there. I'm just going to end this. Hold. Thank you very much, Dr. Mayjen. Hi, my name is Karen Jeffson from John Leaf's Evangelization. We've been doing this live stream to stop abortion since May 13th, 2020, and we try to do prayers each day, every day, with speakers. If you would like to donate to this worthy cause to stop abortion, something that is righteous in the eyes of God, please donate to us at johnleaps.com, johnleaps, Leaps.com, or call 800-313-6933. We could really use it, and we thank you very much. God bless you all.